Welcome, everybody. Good to have everyone in class today. Come on in.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Rashmi. Hi, Franz. Come on in, everyone. It's good to have you here. Got a full class today, so we'll just take a couple minutes just to get everybody settled. Hi, Rosalind. Is that a real background, or is that a fake background? It looks pretty nice. Oh, you're on mute.
It's a fake background.
Okay.
I wish it was real. I'll be stretched out in a hammock.
Yes, that's what it looks like. That would be great. Well, it's good to have everyone here. Let's just get my chat box open so I can check that out as we go along. So we are, just as everybody is slowly coming into the room here, we'll just take care of a few things. So we have Anthony in support with us today. So he's going to be helping us out in the chat. If you've got any issues with your technical stuff, he can help you with that. If you're having troubles with your camera or you want to change your name, anything like that. I will ask if you can at all put your cameras on, even just for a few minutes, just so we can verify that you are who you are and all that, so we don't end up with some disruptors in the class. And we can't stop that from happening. We're trying our best security wise to make sure people that don't really want to be here and they just want to be here to play around with us aren't in the class. I haven't had that happen to me lately, so fingers crossed that doesn't happen. They just don't have anything better to do other than come and disrupt Zoom classes. But anyway, so Anthony will be there to help you out. I'll start sharing my screen. We're starting to get to know each other too, aren't we? Like I recognize so many of you now. Maybe it's because you're making health your number one and you're coming to a lot of health classes of mine and other people's health classes. That's awesome. I try to get to as many classes as I can myself when I'm not teaching. We are recording this, so you can ask for a copy of that at the end of the class if you want. And we are live streaming today too. So let's get started with just a reminder why you're here. It's to do with arthritis management and relief, and we're really going to focus on the relief because that's what I care about really. When people talk about managing conditions or diseases, I always kind of roll my eyes a little bit because it just reminds me of when I worked in my nursing career where, even my father, you go to see a specialist and they say, you know what, you're not bad enough. Come back and see me when you're worse. What is that? It's like almost the opposite of what you would want to hear. Like you would want the vascular surgeon or person to say, you know what, your veins are pretty good. Keep going in that direction. Not like, oh, well, we'll see you back here when you're worse. Like that to me is about managing stuff and waiting till you get sicker. That's not what I like. So we are looking at ways to relieve our arthritis. How can we help it reduce the degenerative part for a lot of arthritis? But we're going to get into that. So there are a few new faces here that I don't recognize, but that's okay. My name is Ravina. I'm one of the guides here at Get Set Up, and I am located in Canada on the West Coast. Furthest West Coast you can go. And I've been involved with medical or health and wellness my whole entire life. I did my nursing degree many, many years ago, and I've studied functional nutrition. I'm a certified health and life coach. And I'm also a aging in place specialist now. That's I've been focusing really on us older adults as we age. What can we do? How can we I don't know, how can we improve our health? And how can we age at home in a successful way so we don't have to move when we maybe don't feel like we want to yet? But maybe there's a few things around the home that's just difficult for us now, whether we're in a house or a condo, whether a loved one has passed away and we're on our own. A lot of us would rather just stay in our own homes or in some form of a home as opposed to going into a facility. Not that they're bad. We have some really beautiful independent living facilities for seniors here in Canada. One's actually going to get built right beside my condo, and I probably will end up volunteering or working over there at some point. So I think they can be really, really fun places, good places to meet people as well. All right, if you can put your camera on, please do. You can get the recording, as I mentioned. We are live streaming right now, and for those of you that don't understand what that means, we're basically live streaming, meaning our TV channel, people can just click on it and see into our class. So we can just say hi to everybody out there. I don't know if there's one person watching me or 100 people watching me, so maybe I've got a following, I don't know. I try to keep these classes light, fun, and moving along so we stay engaged and not like, get bored or fall asleep. So let me know if my classes bore you at any point, and I'll try to add a few more jokes in there. Okay. Also, we don't get paid anything for promoting a specific service or a product. So if I mention something, it's because it's from the goodness of my heart. It's something that I love, and I want to share it with all of you. It may or may not be available in your area, but a lot of things we get here in Canada, we can get in the States as well, United States. Oh, that's good. I'm glad you're not bored with the info. Yeah, we had a really good class. We just did natural remedies, and a few people just said, wow, I learned some new things here. And not a problem. If anybody does need to leave early for any reason or something comes up, not a problem. Just get the recording or just come back to the class. It's always a little bit different anyways because of the questions I get asked. I do this ad lib. Like I have my notes. Like, no, I don't have any notes. Sorry, no notes. I have just my slides. So I talk with what is passionate in my brain at the time. And a lot of it will be similar, but some of it could be a little different. So what are we going to do today? I know Anthony's excited about class today, right, Anthony? We're going to learn the different types of arthritis. There's lots of different types. So we're going to learn all that. We are going to learn 9 ways to naturally relieve our arthritis pain. I don't care about management. I'm going to try and get that out of all of my classes. I want to know what to do to improve my condition, how to relieve it, how to reverse it, how to put it in remission. Stay tuned for my diabetes class. I say management in there because I kind of have to say that, but if I just said diabetes reversal, people would say, no, that's not possible. So my class is called Diabetes Management and Remission, because I do believe you can reverse your type 2 diabetes. Now, I'm not referring to the type 1 diabetes that some people have been born to or have had since childhood. But type 2 is, they call it a lifestyle disease. So if I have control of my lifestyle and my environment, I'm going to try and get rid of that disease. I don't need to hold on to that. And then lastly, we're going to look at 5 foods. And I have a really special treat coming for you. If I have time between this class and my next class, which is an hour after, you are going to get a special post email attachment, and I will tell you about it in just a few minutes. All right, yeah, we got a lot of people in the waiting room trying to get in, and once we hit the five minute mark, we're not letting people in. So yeah, all the more reason to try and get into class early. And Rashmi, I'm glad to see you're out there walking. You're moving about while you're listening, so that's good. How many types of arthritis are out there? Does anybody want to guess? Just use the chat, throw it in the chat, say where you're from if you'd like to say hello. And how many types of arthritis do you think there are? And I also like to use the electronic hand. If you have questions or a comment, just put either go like this with your hand and hold it up, then I can see it, or just use the electronic hand. Yeah, that's how you do the electronic hand. So Las Vegas, that's cool. How many types do we have? How many types do you think? Shout it or put it in the chat. And if you have troubles typing, then you can shout this one out. When I was studying this, I went through nursing. I've been a nurse my whole entire life, and I'm thinking I used to see a handful of arthritis in the wards where I worked, but I didn't see a lot. I didn't work at a children's ward. That's a hint. All right. We have all shy people. Okay, 12. Kathy's saying 12. All right, that's a good guess. But if you remember in my optimal brain class, when I asked how many types of dementia there are out there, it's not quite as many as dementia. And by the way, there's 400 types of dementia out there.
How about
Arthritis.
30?
Yeah,
30?
that's not bad. 30, that's not bad. There's actually around 100 different kinds of arthritis. 100. That's a lot, isn't it? So when we think of arthritis, and I don't have to tell this to any of you here that have arthritis, if you do have arthritis or you're worried about getting it, arthritis is what's not just, it is the inflammation in your joint, of your joint. Inflammation of your joint that causes debilitating joint pain. You either have pain, you have discomfort, you have less mobility, it's awkward for you to move. You're kind of in agony sometimes. I personally have experienced this, so I can tell you that whenever I used to go walk, if I was sitting too long, my knees would seize. And by seize, I mean I had pain, and just to kind of get myself moving, it was hard. So I hear you. If you've suffered arthritis like I have, I get it. So we're going to look at what to relieve it. Well, I could give you some extreme things on how to relieve it, but we'll see if we get to the diet stuff. I'll tell you what I did to stop my knee pain down to zero pain. I have no pain in my knees now. I'll tell you about it in a sec. Okay. Guess what? 50 million of you in the United States alone have some type of arthritis. 50 million people in the United States. It's just the stats I got. I could have looked at stats for Canada, but most of you are from the United States. And here's the real surprising thing. 300,000 children have arthritis. Can you believe it? That's why we call arthritis ageless, because it affects our kids. I have never heard of a child having arthritis, but it is something that happens. The causes and treatment options vary depending on what type of arthritis you have, but let's get right into it. I don't ask the question because I think most of us, this is the one that we think of, osteoarthritis. I'm going to call it OA for short. I don't know, maybe it sounds more cool, but they seem to call it OA. This is the type of arthritis that is the most common for all of us. It is a degenerative type of arthritis. Does everybody know what that means? Degenerative arthritis. Just that word, like if we were in school and they would make us break down the word degenerative, degenerate, it gets worse. So this is the type of arthritis that slowly gets worse over time, but not necessarily, because you're going to learn some amazing stuff today. It affects 27 million. So 50 million is the umbrella of arthritis. 27 million of those 50 is OA. This is the most common. It's when your joint starts to break down. Okay, so you've got your bones, you've got your joint here, and the cartilage between these bones starts to wear down. Before you know it, the bones are what? Touching. If any of you have bone on bone, you know how awful that feels. The sound, the feeling, the pain, and your joint gets so inflamed, red and inflamed and swollen, that you can either injure the bone, or the bone's been injured. Now it starts to form a callus on it, like a formation. And that is like what we call a bone spur. Many people get that in their foot or in their heel, and it is painful. Your foot isn't like this. You end up with this like lump down here, and you feel like you're walking over a rock. Does anybody have, you don't have to say, but when you're walking and it feels like you've got a rock in your shoe, but hey, there's no rock in your shoe. It's a bone formation trying to heal, like to protect the bone. The picture says it all. Like, that's why I picked the knee picture, because that's how my knees feel sometimes, or used to. Inflammation. There's the key there. Inflammation in the body. You guys are going to learn so much about a handful of things from me taking these classes, because there's a common theme in all of my classes, and the number one common theme is about inflammation. I truly believe, as a healthcare professional that I am, that inflammation is the number one problem that causes us to manifest diseases in our body. I'm not just talking arthritis, but I'm talking about all sorts of other things. So what are the risk factors for OA? Age. Unfortunately, as we age, we are at higher risk of getting osteoarthritis. Obesity, if you're carrying more weight on those poor joints, guess what's happening? More wear and tear on the joints. Injuries, some of us have had injuries. That's where my left knee started, from getting hit by a power cart on a golf course. And it hit my knee sideways and I fell down like I got hit by a car. And from that injury, I developed osteoarthritis in that knee. Family history, unfortunately, yes, it does kind of move from family, like there's a family history can affect if you're going to get it. So you're at higher risk if you've got family history of osteoarthritis, and I do in my family. And joint overuse, if you use your joints over and over and over and over and over again, you can end up with osteoarthritis. Where do we see this? Anybody got an idea of where we might see joint overuse? I think of two things. Maybe on a job, maybe we're sitting there typing all the day. What about those poor people that in retail that are constantly swiping our groceries? Hey, now we have self serve places, so we can get it ourselves. No, I'm just kidding. Hopefully don't go grocery shopping constantly over and over and over again. But those people that are constantly swiping our food in the grocery store, they end up sometimes with carpal tunnel syndrome in their wrist. So that's one place. Where else do we see
athletes?
Yes, absolutely. Athletes, because they get so laser focused in on their sport. Maybe it's throwing the javelin. I don't know. I can't think of some sports, although the Olympics, if it happens, is coming soon, the Summer Olympics. They get so specific about what they do. Maybe it's sprints. So maybe they have possibilities of getting stuff in their legs and their feet. I don't know. I always think of swimmers as like, that's probably the best thing if you could be a good swimmer, because your joints are protected a little bit with the water. But some like athletes, they work, and they work the same joints over and over again. So those are risk factors. Common symptoms. What are the symptoms? Gosh, we all know this, don't we? Yeah, laborers, you're right. General laborers, those guys, like my dad, just from, those machines when they're drilling and stuff, construction type jobs can really cause problems, physical problems. Joint soreness and morning stiffness, lack of coordination. Do you feel kind of not very coordinated because your joints don't move the way you'd like them to? And then increased disability. So you feel almost slightly disabled. I know my aunt, she liked traveling. This was years ago before she passed away, but she felt so disabled because we know sometimes when we're catching a plane, we have to be at gate 57 and we're at gate 1, and gate 57 is like a long way. They don't care, do they, in the airports? Sometimes they have those little, you can get into those little things, and she didn't want to ever ask for help. But you feel like you have an increased disability just from your arthritis. Are you going to make your flight? Are you going to not feel too proud and just get on one of those things so they can get you to the gate on time? I don't know. My aunt was so stubborn about that. I don't know. I guess as things escalated, she would then let my cousin get the wheelchair so she could get to the gate on time so they weren't in a frenzy. We definitely have symptoms of osteoarthritis. We're going to get into treatments and things like that, but let's go to the next most common type of arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. It actually affects around 1.5 million of us. So that's not a lot compared to the OA, but it still is common. And unfortunately for us women that are in class today, it's 3 times more common in women than it is in men. Doesn't mean men can't get it. It's just more common in us. All right. What happens with rheumatoid arthritis? It is what they call an autoimmune disease, which in general means that your body, for whatever reason, feels that it's being attacked. It feels like there's a foreign body that's come into the bloodstream or is doing something. And so then your body gets the immune system revved up and basically attacks whatever that is, whether it attacks the cells of your thyroid, or in this case, it attacks the healthy joint. The joint is healthy, and now in rheumatoid arthritis, it's going to attack it. There's still, they research how they can help people with RA. RA, you are going to see more morning stiffness, and you're going to see that if your left finger and your left hand is hurting, it's quite symmetrical. Rheumatoid arthritis can be quite symmetrical. Also, excuse me, also with rheumatoid arthritis, you have joint deformities, more common than osteoarthritis. Kind of is sort of invisible, like you don't really notice it. If you've got rheumatoid arthritis, you might see like a whole joint deformity on a joint, say on your hands, on your knuckles, on your feet, and other places. So rheumatoid arthritis is it's a tough one. There's a blood test that you can take to find out if you have RA. And one other like sad piece of information, and somebody shared this with me, and I also did look it up, and it's true. You can have both. You can actually have rheumatoid arthritis and also have osteoarthritis develop somewhere in your body. So unfortunately, you could be plagued with both of these things. All right. And we'll just talk a little bit more before we get to the relief. This is where the children come in. There is a thing called juvenile arthritis, which is really the umbrella term. And then there's a bunch of different types of arthritis that fall under this umbrella, like juvenile idiopathic arthritis, the dermo types of arthritis, the lupuses, the sclerodermas. There's a whole plethora of juvenile types of arthritis, and that's what makes up those 300,000 children that get arthritis. I don't know how young you can be to get it, but I think you can be pretty young. Then there's the spondylose, which is like the ankylosing spondylitis, AS. That's quite a fairly common one. Reactive arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, the PSA. That's a fairly common one as well. If any of you are golfers, I don't know if any of you are golfers, we have a famous golfer. He actually just won a championship, and he has had psoriatic arthritis his whole entire life. So he has kept going with that. Okay, so yeah, so you were tested for it. That's the thing with RA, you can get tested for there's a marker in your blood that tells you if you have RA. Then there's the lupus types of diseases that we've probably heard of. Gout, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of gout, where it's that painful uric acid gets accumulated, especially in your foot, by your big toe, and it's almost like somebody's like stabbing you with a knife. The pain is so bad. And then fibromyalgia also falls in under arthritis. So there's so many different types. All right. The one beauty about arthritis is that our Western medicine doctors, so our family doctors or physicians that we go see, for some reason, when it comes to arthritis, they're quite open to you using natural types of remedies or natural approaches to your arthritis. For some reason, when it comes to the heart or it comes to other body parts, they're not all that keen on you trying these, holistic stuff. They would prefer you just to stay on medication forever. But for some reason with arthritis, they seem to be a little bit more open in general. So talk to your doctor about it. Say, hey, I've had osteoarthritis my last 20 years, and I'd like to start looking at some natural approaches. Can we talk about it? They probably will be more open to it. So let's go through the 9 ways to relieve. I want to get this one out of the way first, because this is what we are always told, especially if it's osteoarthritis. Why don't you just lose a few pounds and you take some stress off your joints? Easier said than done. However, let's just think about weight management. If we can lower our weight, even by just a tiny, tiny bit, because OA is a wear and tear type of arthritis, you are giving your joints a break. Even 1 pound of weight loss, if you're in pounds, not kilograms, 1 pound, which is like less than half of a kilo, you actually take the impact off your knees of around 4 pounds. So for every 1 pound, the impact on your body is huge. So don't feel like your 5 pound weight loss was a waste. To try to do whatever it is that it takes for you to keep those extra 5 pounds off your body frame will really, really help you with your arthritis. So I want you to remember that, and don't think of it as just like, I just lost I went on this diet. I only lost 5 pounds. It was a waste. No, it wasn't a waste. 5 pounds is like 20 pounds of impact on your body frame. I mean, this isn't a weight management class. Maybe one day I will teach one of those classes, but do your best with whatever you can to try to get your weight in check. It might be, avoiding the half price baked goods in your grocery store after 8 p.m. Guess what? I have that in my grocery store, and it's only like less than a 10-minute walk to the grocery store. But my husband and I have stopped doing that because we got into a habit. We made it a habit of going after 8 o'clock to get the croissants and all these things that are 50% off. Wasn't helping us. Second one I want to get out of the way as well is you're always told, start exercising. I call it movement. And I think movement is something we should be doing every day. If you sit a lot like I do in a chair teaching, I need to kind of get up out of my desk. I actually have a sit-stand desk. So maybe one day when I'm teaching my class, I'll actually stand up to teach the class. But definitely you should be sitting, standing, taking some breaks. Try and find low impact types of movement. So in the water is low impact. Cycling can be low impact. Tai Chi can be low impact. Sitting in a chair doing yoga is lower impact. Find things to help keep your joints flexible. And we're going to get into some other specifics that you can do. But what you also want to do is strengthen the muscles around that joint. So if your muscles are nice and strong, guess what? It takes off some pressure from your joints. So even doing strength training, that's what I started doing for my knees, is I did strength training so I could build up my thigh and my calf muscles and all those little muscles around my knee. And now my joints are much, much better. All right, so now let's get into things you may or may not have heard of. Kathy's, you're asking about CBD oil. I'll say this, honestly, I don't know a lot about it. I haven't used it. I've heard some great things about it. I'm not against it. It's not been my go-to. So maybe one day if I do try CBD oil for something, then I can comment on it. Okay, yeah, you're talking about crackers and chips. Yeah, well, any processed food is just like the sodium level is just off the charts, and it's not good for us. All right, so number 3, hot and cold therapy. I think some of us have forgotten about this. Back in the day, my mom always used to bring out the hot water bottle. If one of us wasn't feeling good, she would get the little hot water bottle out and kind of warm up our beds or, use it. The heat treatment is good for stiffness in the morning. Hot water bottle or electric blanket or a heating pad is great at night to reduce your discomfort so you can fall asleep. How many of us have like such aches and pains, it's hard to go to sleep? So heat therapy, very, very, very helpful. Now, the other one that we forget about is cold therapy. Cold therapy is actually great at relieving joint pain, swelling, or if you feel like your joint is inflamed in any way. Getting that nice gel ice pack, or you can use your frozen peas as well, getting it onto that joint. Now, some people ask me, well, which one do I do? Do whatever you feel like. If you're not a cold person and that will just like irritate you, then don't use the cold. But if there's a joint that's heated up, like it feels like it's inflamed, I would go to the cold before I went for warm. If my joints are just stiff, I would probably prefer having warm. You can also go rotate between them, go back and forth. That is actually really good for circulation and gets it's like a cold hot shower is good for getting your circulation moving in your body. Yeah, Sandra is just talking about a pinched nerve that she had. I've had sometimes from sitting too long, you can end up with that pinched nerve of the sciatica. Has anybody had that, where it just hurts right into the butt? And it is agony, isn't it? You're at work. I had it when I used to sit a lot with work, and nothing seemed to fix that. But there are some treatments you can go to where they pull on your leg and they do something because your nerve is entrapped somewhere. Your nerve is it's pinched. That's exactly when they say pinched nerve. The nerve is like trapped and it's being pinched, and you need to release that nerve from whatever's going on with your body. There are specialists that deal with this. Like it's called Bowen therapy. I went because this sciatica was just excruciating for me. And she did this like light thing, and she yanked on my leg and did something, and she released the nerve, and I had instant relief. Oh my gosh. Yes, you can have instant relief. Okay. Cold hot therapy. Let's not forget about our cold hot therapy. The next one is acupuncture. Maybe this is brand new to some of you, but acupuncture has been around for years and years and years and years. Chinese practice. There's many Chinese that practice acupuncture as part of TCM, which is our traditional Chinese medicine. They can use acupuncture to reduce arthritis pain. So they will figure out on your body where to tap in these little, very, very, very fine little tiny needles. You barely feel a little pinch, and then they sort of like flick on it so that to make sure it's in the right spot. Basically what they feel is it opens up the meridians, it gets the energy flowing through your body. There's no blocks. Like they stop the block, they improve any blocks in your body. And you want to have blood flow to that joint, right? Because you want to have you don't want it to feel dead around that joint. So even me massaging my knee and moving it around is really, really good for my knee joint. But if you have not tried acupuncture, consider doing it. It's a very fascinating type of treatment. It's been around for like decades and thousands of decades. And what I do ask is that you find a licensed and certified acupuncture, because there's a lot of like more sketchy situations where, hey, I can do your acupuncture in my basement. Try and make sure you find a licensed and certified acupuncturist. Let your doctor know that you're going to try this. Some people only do acupuncture for all of their ailments. I have found relief from acupuncture. It helped me get my body clock back on track because I was having trouble sleeping and I was waking up at 3 a.m, kind of more menopausal, premenopause symptoms, but acupuncture actually helped my sleep. So you can use acupuncture for many things, including arthritic pain. So keep that one in mind. That's one you might not have heard of. Number 5 is using meditation. Now, there's no research to say that meditation improves arthritis pain, but meditation can help to calm your body, to lower your stress. Therefore, it helps you cope better with your arthritic pain. There is some proof that lowering your stress can also lower your inflammation in your body. So if I could do something that could lower my pain and lower my inflammation in my body, I want to do it. Combining meditation with Tai Chi or yoga is a wonderful way. And in this picture, it shows this very well. Here's a lady, she suffers from arthritis, but she does a tiny bit of like 5 minutes of meditation every morning. It balances and grounds her. And so she has less stress, therefore she has less inflammation and pain in her body. So if you haven't tried meditating, there's a wonderful phone apps now for meditation that make it so easy. There's a one, I can't remember, it might be the Calm app, but where they have like this little circle in it, this thing that breathes, and it helps you to get onto the system of breathing in and out, because most of us aren't deep breathing. We're just shallow breathing. We're breathing from here up. We're not breathing from our belly. Your belly you should actually be able to see your stomach move. I can't put the camera on my belly. You don't want to see my I don't have that big of a belly, but when you're breathing from your belly, like they say when you're in yoga class, you feel your stomach should go like this. You should see it moving, not all this breathing from here up. A lot of us were just shallow breathers. There's only one time that you should be a shallow breather. Do you want to know what that is? I learned this in one of my nutrition classes. It's kind of funny, but the only time we shallow breathe is way back in the day when we were living amongst animals and stuff. And all of a sudden there's a cheetah, in your distance. You can see this cat or rhinoceros or whatever. I think of something scary, a lion. Back then, that's when we would go into shallow breathing. because we want to be as quiet as possible. You're not going to be breathing like this. You're going to breathe shallowly, so it's super quiet. When you breathe shallowly, you're telling your body there's something's wrong, that you got to run, that it builds your adrenaline up, and we get into that state. That's what shallow breathing is for. But we as a society, we shallow breathe all the time. We're basically sending the message to our body that, hey, stress is upon us. You got to stay in this state. When we breathe deeply from our belly, it's like, now it's safe. We're safe. We're not going to have that predator's not going to jump on us. That's really where it sort of has come from. So if you can learn to get some meditation, get into deep breathing, even for 5 minutes a day, it'll help to improve your situation. I tell that story because I didn't realize, I thought the only time you would breathe like really silently is if you're trying to hide from somebody or something so that they can't hear you. So number 6, getting a massage. Now, some of us have not tried this. Some of us have tried this and probably love it. There's no indication that massage will improve arthritic pain. However, when you do get a massage, and it helps with your sense of well-being, and it will in some ways manage your joint pain and discomfort. At first, when they touch your body, it might be really painful, but as they kind of work that muscle around that joint, all of a sudden you feel your body like this starting to release a little bit and relax. Hey, have any of you had that when you go to a massage? I'm kind of usually a little bit kind of nervous at first until they start working on your body. You're thinking, oh, I'm kind of half naked here, like they're working on this body part. I hope they're not noticing, I need to lose some weight. Like I used to think all sorts of things, but after a little while and you're talking to the chit chat, all of a sudden you stop talking, right? Because you finally get into the massage. Now, I say that about being shy because my mother used to be very shy about ever having a massage. She goes, I don't want to get naked. I don't want to be like in my underwear underneath that little tiny sheet that you can see through. So she used to do a thing called shiatsu massage, and we used to have a lady come to the home and do the massage there. But guess what? With shiatsu, you keep all of your clothes on. Yes, you want to be in sort of comfortable clothing, but you keep all of your clothes on, and the shiatsu massage therapist will do the massage either on the floor on a mat or on a massage table. Very, very a unique, interesting type of massage. I loved shiatsu massage. All right, so that's number 6. So let's keep on moving along here. We're doing good for time. Yeah, we're doing good for time. Here's one that we have forgotten about. So depending on what part of the world you live on, we either call them physical therapists or we call them physiotherapists. Somebody asked me in the last class, is there a difference? There's a slight difference. The physiotherapist really uses hands-on types of treatment to help you with your range of motion and your strength. A physical therapist tends to use more exercise-based approach to help you with your whatever problem you have. But either way, you usually need a referral from your doctor. Let's not forget about our very, very focused and trained specialized physiotherapists. We maybe when we're in the hospital for something, we might see a physiotherapist, but these physiotherapists know your body so well, the joints, they know how to get the best range of motion from your joints. Say it's your shoulders that have arthritis. They will help put a program together to help you get the most range of motion in your shoulder and help you get the best strength in your shoulder. So don't forget about your physiotherapist. I think in New Zealand and Australia, they might call them physical therapists mostly. But nowadays, both of these types of therapists pretty much do the same thing. I haven't been to a physio for a while, but 2 years ago, before our October 2019 trip to Australia, that was sort of like pre-COVID, I was worried because me and my husband were going. I was having such problems with my knees. I was having discomfort every time I walked, like any amount of walking bugged my knees. And so I went to a physio for 6 treatments, 6 weeks in a row, and he worked around my kneecap and did a bunch of stuff, got the circulation going. And you know what? I did really well. I was able to keep up with my husband because we were doing a lot of walking in our 3-week trip to Sydney, Australia, and the surrounding areas. But it was because I went and saw this physiotherapist. At the time, I didn't feel like he was doing anything. But a month later, like out there on my trip, my knees were in better shape. So don't forget about your physical therapist. And then in saying that, the other one is our occupational therapist. Again, something maybe you've only heard of when you've been hospitalized, like the OT comes to your hospital room to talk to you about something. OTs are fantastic. This was the area of study I would have gone into if I didn't go into nursing. Occupational therapists will come into your home and do an assessment and help look around and say, okay, there's you and your spouse. What kinds of things can we do to improve your environment to minimize the amount of effort you have to put in with your joints? Because let's face it, with osteoarthritis, it is a degenerative disease. It's only going to probably get worse. So if you're finding lifting above your shoulder to grab the dinner plates is causing you pain, then why are your dinner plates up here? Why don't you have your dinner plates now in a drawer down below? Maybe your kitchen doesn't support that. Maybe you don't have drawers down below. Did you notice in new home builds, they do have big drawers now below? They never used to. They used to just have cupboards like for under the sink kind of things. Now they have drawers that are big enough to put your plates and your bowls. I don't know who thought of it that we have to go above our shoulders to grab our plates. And so another example is OT might say, why are you using the stoneware? Like, I know it was passed down to you, but every plate's like 20 pounds. There's so many new, beautiful sets of gorgeous plates, dinnerware now that are light. You don't have to go with Corelle, even though I love Corelle, super light, but like that's what we have to do with my dad. He loves his dishes now because he can actually grab them out of his cupboard. Yes, so Kathy's had experience with an OT. OTs are great. Like, I just think they're like the best type of therapist. They come in and they just kind of look around and go, well, Ravina, why do you have your coffee mug holder so far away from where you sit? Like, well, you have to keep reaching like this. Why don't you bring it closer? It's like, oh, I didn't think about that. Why are you looking up at your TV? Do you know that that's what you're getting pain in your neck from where you're watching TV on an angle? Why don't you adjust it? Like little things like that. And you'll be happy to know that at the end of this class, in the post email I send you, I am going to I created it myself by looking at many different things, suggestions from OTs and other people. And I've put together a really great little management tool for arthritis that goes through room by room in your home, things for you to look out for that you can maybe change easily, or maybe some of it might be renos, but some of it's just simple little things that you can do to improve your home environment so that you can feel better from more relief from your arthritic pain. So that's a little treat that all of you that are not in the live stream will get. Neuropathy, is that a form of arthritis? Neuropathy on its own is, nerve pain, and it's not necessarily part of arthritis. Like, for example, with diabetes, you can get neuropathy in your body, and that you don't necessarily have to have arthritis, but there are some arthritis that you will have nerve pain. Yes, I actually like the Corelle. They've come out with some really fancy patterns. I think they look really nice. All right, the 9th thing, and we're going to talk about the foods now, but is eating a healthy diet to relieve your arthritis. So I really want you just to think of the rainbow. When you go grocery shopping, whether you're a single guy living on your own, or you've got a family to feed, or you've got your grandkids coming over all the time, I want you to put color in your grocery cart, like more than 3 colors. So think of Ravina when you go shopping. She said, I need at least 3 colors in my grocery cart. So greens, the oranges, the reds, the purples, the blues, there's lots of food of these different colors. They're mostly vegetables and fruits. So that's what I want to see in your cart, not just all the beige stuff from the beige packaging of packaged foods. There is evidence that having better dietary choices can really positively affect both the RA and OA patients. So you can actually have relief just from improving your diet. And I'm gonna talk about those things now. The things that, this is the number one thing with arthritis, the number one thing, you've got to decrease the inflammation in your body, period. I don't care if it's specifically in that joint. I want you to reduce just think of your body. If you could see inside your body, is it all red? Is it all swollen? Is it all like ready to manifest another disease? You don't want that. You want your body to be calm inside, efficient, like cool to touch, not all inflamed and swollen. What causes inflammation in our body? Unfortunately, for any of us that love red meat, excess red meat causes inflammation inside. Processed foods, I don't care how well they package it, processed foods will increase your inflammation in your body. Saturated fat, too much saturated fat, except for coconut oil, which I think has more health benefits than anything. Gluten containing foods. I'm so sorry that bread with gluten in it, gluten is not good for most of us. The ones that have become celiac, the ones that have had such bad IBS that they can't stand it anymore, they're the ones whose body at least is reacting and telling them, do not eat gluten. The rest of us, we keep putting gluten in our body. We're like putting glue into our body. It's like sticking in our digestive tract. For most of us, gluten is not good. Maybe you can get away if you're eating bread in Europe because they don't do as much weird stuff to the bread as we do here in Canada and North America. In North America, gluten is like one of the top things causing inflammation. What else is causing inflammation? One of those things that's in everything, sugar. If any of you have suffered, and I've gotten to know a lot of you, so I know some of us are post-cancer treatments or we're just finishing cancer treatments. Sugar, cancer loves sugar, by the way. Did you know that? And if you're worried about getting any form of cancer, maybe it runs in your family. Like my mom passed away from uterine cancer. I used to feel like, oh my gosh, like I'm the only daughter in the family. Does that mean I'm going to get uterine cancer? I mean, again, if you have genetics and something gets passed down to you, remember you are an individual. You have different DNA. Like my mom had adult onset diabetes as well. Diabetes, you're at risk of getting cancer, higher risk. So I'm a different person than my mom, but still I kind of worried about it. But sugar increases inflammation in your body. So there's lots of little things we can do that's different now. Now, one more thing I'm going to mention, because I didn't put it on this slide, because I don't want to upset anybody who loves this form of food or has family that works in this industry, because I don't want to be, sued or anything like that. I'm not going to say I'm against it, but you guys, I mentioned in the very beginning of class, and I said I would share it with you. So I'm going to share it with you right now. So you guys get to hear this. Let me just see. We still have lots of people in class. Okay. The number one thing that improved my knee pain by, I mean, no more discomfort. I don't have knee pain anymore. Zero knee pain. Two things I did. I stopped eating sugar, except for monk fruit sweetener that I put in a few things. And I'm just testing it out right now. It doesn't mean I'm never going to have honey in my tea again. But right now, since March, April, May, so no, kind of halfway through February. So 3.5 months, I have been having like as close to zero sugar as possible. Okay. But I was eating some fruit, and I do eat fruit sometimes, and that has natural sugar. But the number one thing that improved my inflammation in my body is I cut out dairy products. Yeah. Now, I know for some of you are just like, oh my gosh, like I eat yogurt every morning. I love my yogurt. I get it. But I needed to do something to show results. I wanted to see if I could get rid of this knee pain. I'm 55. I wanted to be able to walk around. Like my husband's younger than me. It's like we walk to our workout, we walk to pick up groceries. Like it was affecting my lifestyle. I cut out dairy products. So here's the thing about dairy products. I didn't put it on a slide, but I'm just going to say it to you. Dairy products for most of us is a pro-inflammatory food, which means it likely increases your inflammation in your body. Maybe not as much as sugar, but it still increases. Now, you might be good with the sugar intake, but are you eating dairy every single day? Okay. Now, people say, well, what about goat's milk? Can I have goats? Goat and sheep is definitely less because the molecule is a little closer to what we can tolerate. So it's not as inflammatory as cow dairy, but it is still can be inflammatory. So you play around with it. You do your own little testing. I'm not going to say I'm never going to have beautiful hard cheese from France. Like, come on, if I go to France, I'm going to eat the cheese. But for right now, my little test is 3.5 months. My husband and I have not had dairy, no dairy. And I don't have phlegm anymore in my throat. I don't have IBS anymore because I was having like the loose bowels sometimes and I couldn't figure out what food it was. So just keep that in mind. Sugar, dairy, processed meats. That's my one little thing. So here's the good news. What 5 foods can you do to reduce inflammation in your body? So if you're going to eat yogurt, maybe make sure you eat turmeric as well. Turmeric is the #1 anti-inflammatory natural way to get rid of inflammation in your body. So it is a bit of a weird spice for some of you. You might not have seen it before. It kind of isn't really bitter, but doesn't really have the best flavor. But what you do is you mix it in with your foods. You can take it in capsule form as well. I would ask your doctor first before you start taking capsules of turmeric. The compound in turmeric is called curcumin. Nothing to do with cumin, so don't start taking cumin as a spice. Curcumin is the compound in there, and it has been proven to drastically reduce inflammation in a person's body. So I want you to get turmeric in your body every day if you can. Now, the special thing that I mentioned that you were going to get at the end, which is not quite ready. So if I don't give it to you in this class, please sign up for this class again. It'll definitely be ready for next week's arthritis class. I have been testing recipes in my kitchen, which is my favorite thing to do. You guys know so much about me now. I have created a document with 11 recipes. They're not Indian recipes. Like, yes, you can put turmeric in your dal or like in an Indian curry. I'm talking about like everyday recipes that I've added turmeric into it at the right amount to make it absolutely delicious. That little document with 11 recipes will go out to you in this arthritis class. If I can get it done between now and my next class on 7 healing foods, I will send it out to you. If not, just sign up for the class again so you can get it. I can't say enough about turmeric. It's a wonder spice. It is my #1 wonder spice. Okay, so Kathy says she found cutting down on dairy helped her OA, even though I only, yes, it's so true. You think that dairy, because of the mucus, that maybe it would help support the joints, but it's actually the opposite. It causes inflammation in our bodies. #2 foods, I want you to get your omega-3 fatty acids. Again, a really good thing to reduce inflammation. Not as good as turmeric, but kind of right up there. Become friends with your fish. Your oily fish, your salmon, your herring, your sardines, your mackerel. Okay, how much? You know what, Janice, even if you were to have like a 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric every day in your food somehow, I think would make a huge difference with your arthritis. Sprinkle a little bit of black pepper whenever you do the turmeric, because that helps to make it more bioavailable to you. That will help you. So you could do just like a 1/4 teaspoon, as long as there's a bit of pepper with it. It will help you. And then report back to me. Try it consistently for 2 weeks and tell me if you don't notice a difference. Ginger and garlic. Yes, Rashmi, ginger is amazing. It's got its own healing, and same with garlic. Both of those foods are great. If you come from an Indian background like I do, we often put ginger, garlic, and turmeric together. So there's some really great things with our Indian culture, Indian food that we kind of eat on a daily basis. It's probably helped us. Unfortunately, for whatever cultural reason, osteoarthritis is quite common in Indian culture, my background. for some reason, I don't know if it's because of the physicalness of the work we do. We get foreign workers that come to Canada a lot from Mexico. A lot of people come from India, and they are the ones bent over in the fields picking strawberries that we as Canadians don't want to do. That's hard on your body. You know, like strawberries are low, right? For the most part, that's hard work. Remember, we talked about wear and tear on joints can cause you to develop osteoarthritis. So keep that in mind. Mustard with turmeric because I'm allergic to garlic and cinnamon, and those two are very good for you. Yeah, absolutely. You do whatever you can do. Absolutely. Okay, so just getting back to omega-3s. Just eat fish. And if you hate fish, eat seeds. Start sprinkling seeds and things. And if you have to make it delicious, make yourself a chocolate chia pudding. And that's easy enough to look up a recipe on that. But basically, it's literally a little bit of hot water with the cocoa to make it like you're making a cocoa drink, a little bit. Add in your nut milk into your bowl. Throw in 2 or 3 tablespoons of chia seeds. Swirl it around, stick it in the fridge. It will swell up into a lovely pudding, and you can eat chocolate pudding and be getting your omega-3s. Like, how easy is that? The next food is vitamin D, foods with vitamin D, sorry. We as a society are low in vitamin D. Doesn't matter what skin color you have. Like, I have been tested, and my vitamin D levels were like in the I don't know, very, very low. They were very, very, very low. So you need to have vitamin D. They say that you are at higher risk of developing OA or RA if you have low vitamin D. People can improve 3 times faster, or they're 3 times worse if their vitamin D is not adequate enough. You can get it more symptoms from your OA and your RA if your vitamin D levels are low. So again, where can you find vitamin D? Salmon, liver, egg yolks, and mushrooms. That's a surprise. Who eats mushrooms here? No problem, Brad. You got to get going. I love mushrooms. Start eating your mushroom soup. Start making your own mushroom soup. Put it in your stir fries. Mushrooms have a lot of vitamin D. Now, you can get vitamin D from the sunshine because a vitamin D you can manufacture. Like the last slide, you can't manufacture omega-3s. You have to get it in your food. Vitamin D, you can make some of it, but I don't make enough because guess what? When I go outside and it's sunny, I have a hat on. Like, I cover myself up because I don't want to have, I don't want to be, I don't want to get sunburned. All right, 2 more. Nuts. Why are nuts great? Because they're jam-packed full of the omega-3s. Also helps to bring down your inflammation. Just be careful with your nuts because we can overdo nuts. Like when we sit with a big bowl of pistachios, what do? We eat the whole bowl. This is one of those things. It's like chips. So take a tiny little bowl. Like this has a lot of nuts in here. I would say, limit yourself to like 20 nuts or less a day. But that's self-explanatory, very low anti-inflammatory. And then the last one is the healthy oils. I want you to think of your oils as the olive oils, avocado oil, or walnut oil. Those are your best sources because, again, they've got the omega-3s in it. All those other oils, you are harming yourself of your omega-3s if you use any of those other oils other than coconut oil, because those are omega-6. If you have mostly plant oils, like all of our processed foods has plant oils in it, you're reducing your ratio. Your 6 is going up and your 3 is going down. You need to have that. It's supposed to be 1-on-1. Omega-3s, omega-6s. Most of us have it 16-1. Do you see the difference? You need to get it closer to the same. So that's why I don't like peanut oil. Honestly, peanut oil is not a good one. It's too much of the omega-6s, and they're pro-inflammatory. Plant oils are pro-inflammatory. Omega-3s are anti-inflammatory. You want the anti-inflammatory oils, and the ratio makes a difference. All right, so lots of stuff to learn today. You're going to get a handout with the OT recommendations. If I can get that other, the turmeric recipe handout ready, you'll get it today. If not, sign up for the class again and you'll get it then. We've learned the different types of arthritis, 9 ways to naturally relieve your pain, and 5 foods. If you actually added those 5 foods into your diet, I would say I can't wait to get the feedback from you to say that you've improved. Janice, do you have a question? No? Are you just stretching? Oh, you're just stretching. Okay. So please check out the schedule for new classes coming out every single day. Sandra's asking about grapeseed oil. Grapeseed oil is not bad for you, but if you want to get omega-3s, if you're going to use oil, use your olive oil, use your avocado oil, use walnut oil. Avocado oil is one of those you can put at a higher smoke point. So, you know, to replace like something like your peanut oil that maybe you were using that you could go higher up. Olive oil, don't heat it up too high, like, because you'll burn it and then it oxidizes and it's not good for you. As I said, you're going to get the email. Please fill out the feedback form for me. I would love to hear your feedback. I do learn from it and I try to improve classes. You can invite friends now to classes with this little handy button that gets sent out to you. And lastly, if you want to suggest a class or you want to host a class, just send it to help@getsetup.io. Or if you want a recording of today's class as well. You have to be in a class to ask for a recording. So just so you know, if you didn't attend the class, they won't really send you the recording because you weren't in the class. But if you are in the class, yes, you can get your recording. All right. Thank you for being here. We are kind of at time now, so I'm going to let you all go so that you can get to the rest of your day. The weather's starting to pick up. I'm sure you guys have gardening to do or some movement to do. So take care. And I hope to see you all again soon. Thanks for coming, Franz. It's nice to see men. Stephen, I love when I see men in my classes. I get very excited. I feel like we're doing something good because you guys are coming to the classes. You know, because my husband's like, he won't do it unless it's going to be really, really helpful. He doesn't want to. Anyways, it's just the difference between men and women. We're maybe a little bit more open to just try stuff. I always love it when some of the females that come as learners, next thing you know, there's somebody sitting beside them coming and listening in on the class. So I love that. Okay, take care, everybody. See you again soon.